What's going on, everybody? It's Matt, and I'm back again with another video. Today, this one's really exciting. So this is my client. He's been my client for, I want to say, the full 6 months that I was working at the shop. Now we're past that. I don't know when this video is going to get posted, but this is going to be interesting. He did not come to me all summer. He got sick, and he just decided he was going to grow out his hair as fast as he could and see how long it can get. So I started right here, which is clipper lever open and some clipper over comb. And then I realized, you know what? He has the hair that just blends into each other pretty seamlessly. So what I decided to do in this haircut, and this was the first time I attempted this, and I told the dad before we started, we're going to use no guards. I like to keep challenging myself in this industry. I think it's pretty cool. Eventually, I want to get to the point where I can do haircuts in 5-10 minutes with no guards. So you see me right here, I'm scooping out. So I've done this before on his hair, but I've done it with a trimmer. I've never really done it with a clipper. And right there, I'm just creating my foundation. And this really does take time, and you could really mess this up. So I believe this haircut took me almost an hour or 50 minutes. And it could have been faster, but honestly, I was just enjoying myself. I didn't really have anyone else after this. This was pretty late in the day. So I just let him know, hey, I want to try a different technique. I've never tried this before. And he was like, yeah, sure, whatever. I know how to fix it if it goes to it. And I would make sure I'm paying attention when I'm doing these kind of scoop out motions. And right here, I'm going between the lever, lever open, lever closed, lever halfway, a notch on, a notch open, a notch closed, a lot of clip over comb just to create some shape. He wanted to keep a lot of his hair still up top. He only wanted an inch off, but I told him hey, whatever's dead, we just kind of got to get rid of. So he agreed, and right there you can see I'm building that shape, building that foundation. I feel like it was a lot easier on this side of his head versus the other side. I don't know, I guess because I'm a righty, it just flows naturally to just make this side blend seamlessly like that. And then it feels kind of awkward on the other side. I want to get to the point where I could also cut with both hands. I think that would be pretty cool. But you see me using a lot of clipper over comb here, a lot of different techniques. I could have went in and just debulked the 1.5, but I really do like to challenge myself and just see what I can do and see what I'm capable of, especially if he still likes how the cut turns out. I mean, obviously, we could switch it from whichever way. There's more detail work that can always be done. I'm always going to be the biggest critique. And that's his dad right there. His name is Javier. And he's checking the the right side versus the left side. Look how much hair. Man, kid had a lot of hair. Yeah, that's his dad. His dad was actually watching because he's never seen a barber do it with no guards before. So I just was showing him what I'm doing and how I'm scooping out, changing the lever. And overall, we were pretty happy on how this was turning out. I think this is one of the first times he's experienced this as well. So I had to clip up his hair. And then my favorite part about this is right there, just scooping out and getting all that bulk off. I think if I was using a corded Andis Master, I think this cut would have been a lot faster and it would have been a lot easier to get that bulk off. It doesn't necessarily rev up as much. The JRLs are pretty consistent, but it does have a hard time going through bulk. Even though his hair blends pretty easily, JRL just has that hard time in my experience. I don't know if you guys have experienced this before, but in my experience, I do. So right here, I'm just doing the same steps. And this is what I mean, that left side of the head, it does feel kind of awkward because you're used to the right side being dominant. I have to use my left hand just to move down his ear and stuff. So I'm working on that as well. And then I always reference my mirror just to keep the shape nice and symmetrical, nice and boxed out depending on what the client is asking for. So right here, I'm going through the back, just making sure that shape is there. I'm taking out a lot of dark spots. And I'll go back and I'll detail it. Some of it was off camera, so I felt like I was taking too long at one point. But this was the first time I did a technique, so I thought that was pretty cool. And yeah, I'm still learning when it comes to shear work in the sense of doing the comb overs and stuff. I believe that does take time. So I always recommend that people just continue to learn, whether it's watching videos online or seeking out, mentorship for that sense. But I make my initial guide and then I just follow it back. From there, I'm able to just create a nice foundation. And if I need to work into it, it's a lot easier versus just blindly cutting. I feel like in the beginning, I was just blindly cutting and just hoping for the best. But now I have an understanding of what I'm doing. I've watched a lot of videos for this type of hairstyle. So it was easier to accommodate once you have an understanding of it. And then right here, I see a lot of dark spots. So I'm working my best to just get those angles in, make those dark spots a lot lighter. And then I don't use a foil shaver on him. I don't believe so. He's still a kid, bro. So there's no reason, the hair's going to last as long as it does. Kids' hair grow fast anyways. Like I got it down to bald and then I went back in with a trimmer. The foil shaver from time to time, it will make you bump up depending on how sensitive your skin is or if you have curly hair. In his case, he has a lot of dense hair. He has a lot of it. So I just didn't want to risk him bumping up, especially right before back to school. So we did our best just to make it as bald as possible. And then right here, I'm going back in, just making sure my cuts are nice and even, see if there's any place that I left some bulk. And it's creating that nice shape. And it's creating like a nice comb over as well. Next time, I think I would cut off just about an inch or two more. I didn't realize how much hair he got until I was able to look at the floor and I saw like his hair was all over the floor because there was so much of it. But right here, you see I'm clipping up. I'm using some texture shears around this area. We don't necessarily line up his hairline, but we do the edges right by the end of the box. And I use some texture shears just to thin it out a little bit, or some thinning shears, just to thin out that area a little bit. So when I line it up, it's not as bulky and that way it won't grow back as fast. So right there, I clip it up. I'm doing some trimmer work. And I like to make multiple passes. Like everyone says, like your trimmer should be sharp enough to do one pass, but that's not necessarily the case. My trimmers are pretty sharp. Hair just doesn't lay as much as you want it to, whether you hit it with hairspray, you hit it with holding spray, whatever the case. Hair's going to do what it wants to do, and you have to go with the natural movement. Then I'm showing him. He said, wow, this is the shape we created. He wanted that comb over. He kind of wanted just the same haircut as his dad, and I think this is the first time we combed it to this side, but this is how his hair grew out. It was pretty low before, so we just kept it as natural as possible, trying not to work against his calic. And this was a fun experience. Next time when I do this, I definitely want to just see if I could do this faster and if I could put a little bit more detail into this. He is a kid at the end of the day, so I didn't want him to get impatient. And then I'll come in with some texture shears just to make sure everything is nice and done as well. I use the powder just to get anything off. And right there, you see, he has so much hair. So we're just taking all that off. This is really fun. I love doing this. And I think I'm going to keep challenging myself with things like this. This is the first time I was able to do this. It definitely won't be the last time. Once my corded masters come in the mail, I'm going to be doing some videos on that. I know it's kind of old school, but hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's how I look at it. So I got a new blade I got them for a good deal. I think I paid like $30, $25, and then the blade was like 25, and I got the OG Zero Guard. So basically for the price of a new one, I got everything done. And I'll probably just have to tune it. I'll probably make a video on that, just tuning it up and then just showing you how I use it. Right here, you see me doing a lot of repetitive detail work. I also use these videos as like gameplay footage, just to see where I could have just skipped on a step. Like if I just paid more attention, I could have finished without it. So he liked the cut. He was talking to his dad. I'm going to catch you guys on the next one.